everybody, welcome back to Disasters and DIYs. My name is Janie, and if this is the first time that you are joining me on my channel, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. I hope you like what you see and you hit the subscribe button and continue to follow along with me on my crazy journey of DIYs and all kinds of other fun things, as well as Courtney, who does all of the organizing of the disasters and other fun things. If you've been here all along or have already seen our channel, thank you so much for coming back. My cup runneth over with appreciation and love. Thank you so much. Today I'm going to bring you 3 DIYs that I was working on. It's been a little bit since I've dropped a video. I was on vacation. DIY and I just finished up a 5,000 mile road trip across the United States. Gertie. And along the way I did a few hauls. I intended on doing more hauls, however, life got in the way and it was not feasible to get them done. So I apologize for not being able to follow through with that. I will, however, be showing you some of the things that I purchased as I do the DIYs moving forward. Yeah. So let's get a little sneak peek going on what DIYs I have in store for you. So sit tight and let's take a peek at what I have made. In this video today, I will be bringing you 3 more DIYs that are all a part of the rustic farmhouse decor makeover that I've been working on. All supplies I used will be listed below in the description box. Now that you've seen a little sneak peek of what is going to be in this video, I'm going to let you know that Mr. DIY helped me with one of these videos. So I am challenging you to guess which one it is. Also, you're going to see a few glimpses of a couple of our members of our Fur Quality Assurance Team. They're always standing by, watching, lurking in the background, checking on us to make sure that we are doing all of our DIYs safely and correctly. They're very official. So, all right, let's get ready to get into these DIYs. DIY number 1. In this first DIY, I'm going to use this 8-inch wreath form to create a wreath to replace the O in the word home on this home sign. Now this home sign I created back in the fall before I did YouTube videos, so unfortunately I don't have it filmed, but I did make the sign myself using Dollar Tree signs, and I hand painted the letters on. So as you can see right here, I am taking these flowers. They came out of actually my fall flower stash, but I liked the color of them, and so I wanted to try them on this wreath to see how they would look. And as you can see, I went to all the trouble of putting them around and seeing how they fit, and then you're going to see I'm going to change my mind and not even use them. They're too big and they're too bulky, and they just really didn't create the look that I was going for. So here you can see I changed over to the flowers that I do actually end up using. Unfortunately, I don't have names for any of the flowers that I used. They came out of my stash. I believe I took these off of an old wreath that I had, and I'm just recycling them. So right here I'm taking floral wire and I am just tying them on with the wire, and I cut each of the floral pieces apart so I had smaller pieces to work with, and that way then I could spread them apart and make it look a little more even. Once I got all the little white flowers spaced around the wreath form nicely, I went in and Now I'm adding all of the little blue flowers. I cut the blue flowers into smaller pieces than what I did with the white ones because I wanted to be able to be a little bit more strategic and place them in where it looked pleasing to the eye. So it had a nice balance of little splashes of blue along with the white. You'll see with these little blue flowers, I'm using my hot glue gun to put them on the wreath. They were too small to attach with the wire like I did with the white flowers, so I felt like the hot glue was a better decision to put those on, and they held up pretty good, so I was glad I did that. You can see the wreath is completed, and I've put it on the little hook that I have there that holds the wreaths whenever I switch them out. And now I'm just making a little flower spray to go up underneath the clamp that I have above, and that changes out with the seasons just when I change out the wreath. And here is my home sign completed with the wreath that I just made and the little flower sprays up above in the clamp. I love how these flowers look like I just picked them right out of a field. Unfortunately, the glare from the window has made the video a little bit hazy. I apologize for that. But just take a look at all of the pretty colors and the nice detail that I have in the sign. I'm pretty proud of that sign. I did those letters by hand. So that was before I got a Cricut. So I hope you like this sign just as much as I do. DIY number 2. For this next DIY, I'm going to take this 2-tiered tray that I got from the Target dollar spot, and I'm going to transform it into a rustic farmhouse 2-tiered tray that I can put on my cubicle that I have in my entryway. So here I'm taking some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, which is basically black, and I'm going around and I'm giving this tray just one really good coat, just making sure that I'm getting all of the red the best that I can. Next, I'm going to take some of these wooden half beads that I purchased off of Amazon, and using some E6000 and hot glue, I'm going to put 2 small little dots of each type of glue side by side on the flat side of the half bead and place it around on the rippled edge of this tray. Now you'll see me, I'm going to do it on both the top and the bottom of the tray, and I'm looking at it as I'm placing them on, and the more beads I get on there, I'm thinking, oh, I kind of like the brown beads with the black, and so there was part of me that kind of wondered if I should have left it that way. So comment down below and tell me what you think you would have done. Would you have left the wooden beads natural and with the black, or would you have went ahead and did what I end up doing?
So I wanted to go ahead and mention why I'm using the two different glues. The E6000 gives more of a permanent hold, where the hot glue gives it an instantaneous hold. The E6000 is going to be more permanent, but it takes 24 hours for it to dry completely, and I didn't want to wait that long to complete this. So the hot glue kind of helps hold it in place so I can continue on. So now I have all of the beads glued on and they're nice and secure. And I'm going to come back in with that same Waverly chalk paint and ink and go over the beads. The reason I did it this way, where I painted the whole thing first and then did the beads, was one, when you have metal, when you put paint on it, things glue nicer to it than just the plain metal. But then also too, it was a lot easier to get into those nooks and crannies if the base of the tray was already black. You just come running by. Next, I'm going to start distressing this little tray. So I'm taking Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral. Using my chip brush, I dabbed the brush in the paint, and then as you can see off to the side on the puppy pad, I got a lot of the paint off. And then I'm just taking it, and as I've said before, I just kind of kiss along the bristles along the edges of the beads and just getting in there, just touching the high points of where those beads poke out, giving it a little bit more dimension. So now to give it a little bit more depth and dimension, I'm adding some white acrylic paint over the top of the Mineral that I just applied, and I'm doing this even lighter strokes than what I did with the Mineral because I just want to give it a little bit of, like a two-tone color, just so it doesn't look just drab against the black. The memory of you just come running by. After I get the white applied to all of the beads, I do go into the bottom of the tray and add some brush strokes in there just to give it the illusion like it's been kind of scratched up and worn, because I like that old look. And now to seal all of that painting in, I'm taking some matte Mod Podge and I'm giving it a nice coat going in between those beads. I want to make sure that I can get it covered the best I can, because I really don't want any of that paint to come off, especially in the areas that are all black, because underneath is red, and that's not the look that I want. Is my little tray all complete. I have some small little antiques and such decorating it. My husband is Mr. DIY. He loves trains, and so we have a lot of railroad memorabilia and antiques, and so I thought this would be a nice way to display those pieces that he's collected. I really love the way that the distressing makes it look old. It's completely a different tray than what I started out with. I'm really happy with the way it turned out.
You just come running by.
DIY number 3. And in this final DIY, I have recruited Mr. DIY to help me with this project. He bought me an antique railroad lamp that came out of a depot here in Alaska. He got it for me for Valentine's Day because he knows that I love antiques and he loves railroad stuff, so it just kind of works well with our decor. And so we're making a wooden base, for a lack of a better way to call it, to hang the lamp from. So here we've taken some scrap wood that we had left over from the craft table that he built me back in the fall, and he's cutting it down to the sizes that we need. And here you have our supervisory committee, Fiona and Dexter. They're watching their papa saw the boards and making sure that he's doing it safely. And here I am taking my orbital sander and I'm going along getting all of the rough edges off. I don't want it particularly smooth, but I want it to be no edges where there's splinters and such. So I'm just giving it a really good sanding. Now both pieces of board are sanded to where there's no rough edges to give splinters. And now I'm going to stain them. What I'm using is some chocolate brown acrylic paint. It's actually a really old bottle of paint that I've had in my stash for a while, but it's okay to use it because I'm adding water to it because I want to just water it down to take that acrylic paint and make it more of a stained look. You'll see here I'm going to add a little bit more just until I get the darkness that I want. This way then I can stain the board. It dries a lot quicker than traditional stain and it doesn't have the stinky smell because I needed to do this inside. So.
The memory of you just come running by. I'm not broken, I'm just split in two. I'm not broken, I'm just split in two. I'm not broken, I'm just split in two. The memory of you just come running by.
So here I'm just using a regular sponge brush and applying the watered down paint on the end. The end is really porous, so I'm really having to put quite a bit on there. But you'll see here in a second I'm going to turn it over and apply it to the face of the board. And it just gives it such a really pretty color. I like this color a lot. However, here in a minute, you're going to see once it dries, it dries a little bit lighter than what I like. And so I was debating on whether or not to do a second coat or to apply some antique wax, excuse me. And so that's what I end up doing in the end. So here I'm just making sure that all sides are stained. This long board, I didn't need to do the other side because it's going to be up against the wall. And as I mentioned, here is the antique wax that I decided to use. This is incidentally the same antique wax that I used on my China hutch project that I did. I'll try to remember to link that video down below in the description box. But as you can see on the small little board, once it dried, it wasn't quite as rich of a color as what it looked like when it was wet. So I put this antique wax on, hoping that it would give it a little bit richer color, with also too protecting it by giving it a little bit more of like a wax finish. And here is Mr. DIY back again to help me out. He's going to put the two boards together. The way he's going to screw them, they're going to screw them together like the shape of an L. The long board will go up against the wall, and the smaller board will stick out from the wall, which will give a place for the lamp to hang from. So here you can see he's screwing in the screws, and I'm trying to video and also help hold it. And here we have a black wrought iron L bracket that's decorative that we're placing in the arm, the crook of the two boards, to give it a little bit more stability and to also give it a decorative flair. He's just basically taking a white pencil and marking holes so then he can drill the pilot holes to screw the bracket into place. You just come running by. With the pilot holes all drilled, he's taking the screws now and screwing in that L bracket right there in the bend where those two boards meet. You can see there that the screws are a completely different color than the L bracket, so I will off camera go inside and paint them black so they match and don't stick out like a sore thumb. You just come running by. Here he's drilling the pilot holes so he can screw in the hook that will ultimately hold the lamp. The hook you'll see is white, and just like with the screws, I take it in off camera and I will paint it black so everything is cohesive and matches. So now it is all completely put together and ready to hang. Here he's drilling in some pilot holes where he will use the screws to screw this into the wall. So he's just doing a little bit of prep work it's way easier to do the pilot holes now, get the screws kind of in there and started when it's not up on the wall. That way then all he has to do is put it up on the wall and screw the screws in. And as always, we have our quality assurance team, Fiona and Dexter, doing their supervisory work, making sure Mr. DIY is being safe. Now it's time to hang it up. He had the screws already put in there. All he had to do was just sink them into the wall, into the stud, and there is the beautiful lamp hung on the hook. I am so happy with the way that this turned out. It just looks so pretty hanging up there around all of the other antiques that I have displayed.
I hope you really enjoyed the DIYs that I created for you today. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel to grow. If you haven't already, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell, which will give you notifications of every time we upload a video. You can follow us on Instagram at disastersanddiys. Please join that page as well, because we give you little glimpses into what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be showing you, and some other kind of behind the scenes fun with Hallie and Freedom and all of the fur babies in our quality assurance team. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you again for the next video. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Disasters and DIYs. My name is Janie. If you are returning, thank you from the bottom of my heart for returning. My cup runneth over. If you are brand new and are meeting me for the first time, I hope that you like what you see and you hit the subscribe button and continue to join our wonderful family. That was Gertie, my grand dog. She's Courtney's dog. And here comes Oliver and the rest of the quality assurance crew, our fur inspectors. Ugh, guys, no. Greta, you're not the star. This is Greta. This is Greta. This is Fiona, Gertie, Oliver, and Dexter. Up close and personal. Okay, guys, if you're going to be in the video, you need to lay down, because Mom and Grandma. Greta, Fiona, Oliver. It's gonna happen. Incidentally, I don't have this many dogs. Courtney's on vacation, and I'm dog sitting grand dogs. I only have 3. Move, move, move. All right, go. 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 I'm trying to show you guys real life, and this is real life. Out of the camera. Thank you. Okay. I hope you enjoyed those all the DIY. Thank you, Gertie. I hope you enjoyed all of the DIYs that I brought to you today. Please make sure to hit the notification bell and like this. Well, I hope you enjoyed the DIYs that I brought for you. I hope you... Oh my God, get your crap together, girl. Okay. No.